Hi, friends, and welcome to another podcast of Leaders Connect series. Essie Daniel here, and I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you for creating the time to be here with me. I don't take that for granted. I do appreciate you dearly. If we haven't met before, I podcast or teach on matters pertaining personal growth and leadership development. We have a podcast channel where, or rather, I have a podcast channel where I record every week lessons on those two topics. And we also have a family YouTube channel where you get to listen from 5 different people every single week. We have our little Stella that is 6, and she records on life lessons that she's learning. We have Isaac that teaches on faith and leadership and personal growth, leadership development and personal growth. We have Isaiah who teaches on leadership, development, personal growth, and DISC personalities. We also have my husband Daniel who teaches on matters pertaining faith. He defends the faith. He's an apologist, so he teaches the word of God. He's a great teacher. And here I am. So thank you so much for joining me. I would love for you to subscribe to our channel, Aspire Global Leadership. Hit that bell button and subscribe. And again, thank you for tuning in. It's a pleasure to connect with you. So here we go. We are continuing with the series of qualities of a great leader. The last 2 videos, we talked about a great leader is a lifelong learner. And the second video, we talked about a great leader is a river, not a reservoir. They allow blessings and knowledge to flow through them. They do not hoard onto it. And we talked about outlets of how we can not only apply what we are reading, what we are studying, the experiences we're facing, but put them out there for someone else to benefit from our experiences and from our teachings. And that helps us measure our growth, and it also sets us apart. And you never know, someday you could monetize those videos and those podcasts, right? So now, finally, we are going to talk about the importance of prioritizing. A great leader is productive. They prioritize their life. They do not just wake up every day and allow life to run, or rather the day to run anyhow, haphazardly. A great leader has their day mapped out. They have an organized life. I like what my mentor, Chris Robinson, said earlier. He said that as a leader, you cannot afford to not plan out your life. And I like what he said, that people spend more time planning their vacations than they spend planning their lives. Just imagine that. You take a lot of time to plan an event, yet you don't take that much time, which should be like a gazillion minutes and hours, to plan out your life. Yeah? We spend more time planning our vacations or events than we take to plan our lives. And you see, planning is, when you plan something, you're 50% there. Your success rate is at 50%. I can't remember who said those actual words, but I have it written somewhere. But not only that, failing to plan is planning to fail. There's a wise man that once said, "Give me 6 hours to cut a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." How are you utilizing your time? How are you prioritizing your life? What are your non-negotiables in your life? Get to know those things. Write them down and give them the first priority in your life. For example, faith is important to me. My walk with God, my faith is important to me. So that has to be a daily practice. My personal growth as an individual, as a leader, that is important to me. So that has to be a priority in my life. My dear beloved family is a priority to me. So I have to make sure that I'm creating time to spend time with them, to eat with them, to take the kids to school, to speak with them when they're going to school, when they're coming home. I like what Daniel does, my husband. When he's taking the boys to school, they study the word of the Lord together. They study the Bible together. They are on this Bible plan where they study together. And on their long commute to school, they go through what they are learning. When I'm picking them up from school, there are conversations we have. What went well? What did you learn? In other words, what didn't go well, but we don't want to put it that way because it gives it a negative connotation. We want to ask, what did you learn today? What are you learning today? What mistakes did you make today, and what did you learn out of those experiences? What do you need to start doing? What do you need to stop doing? Same questions, right? Those are conversations that I want to be a part of, so that if they're learning something that is not accurate, or if they are struggling to find the truth in something specific, I can guide them. You see, family is a priority to me, so that I have to schedule it in my time. But then here comes all these other things that are not priorities. There are emails that are constantly coming in. There are phone calls that are constantly coming in. For example, telemarketers. I don't know about you where you are, but for me, my phone, it rings until sometimes I wish there was a way I could just unhook it from the wall, because unhooking from the wall is quicker than powering it off, right? Distractions. Unless as a leader you prioritize, you will go through life putting out fires. You'll be like a firefighter. Something will come up, you fight that out, you fight that fire until it's out. And then while you're at that, you'll fight another out, you'll fight another fire out. And your day will be over and you'll be so exhausted, and you wake up and you repeat the same. But when you prioritize your life and you are firm about not wavering, about not changing your mind, about not giving in to checking that email or giving into that temptation of picking up that call, unless you streamline your life, your priorities, and you focus on what you have decided you're doing for that day, you will not accomplish much. You will end up not becoming an effective leader. If anything, you'll start losing what you have as a leader, and eventually you will be a dry leader. We talked about in the previous recording how we should be a river and not a reservoir. It's very easy to find yourself becoming a reservoir, a hoarder, because you are not growing, because you are not prioritizing your life. You're busy day in and day out and no results. Busy does not necessarily mean productive. We are looking for productivity as leaders. And that's why I want to introduce the 3 Ds. The first D, which we've talked about, is delete what you do not need to do and do away with it. Things like binge watching, those have a place, but they cannot be a priority in your life. Yeah? So what you need to delete and do away with it. What you need to delegate, prepare, designate what it is that you need to delegate to that person, train them, and then let them run with it. And do not micromanage them, just train them, provide them with all the tools and the resources they need, and then let them run with it. That will increase your time. And then the last D is do it. Do that which only you can do and should do. For example, as a CEO of a company, as a parent in a home, you need to be the one casting the vision, who's always thinking, how do we get to this level as far as success is concerned or growth is concerned? You're the vision carrier, so cast the vision. Spend time looking into the future and developing a good plan for your company, for your organization, for your church, and as a parent, a good plan for your family that will help you not exchange time for money, right? Because your presence is needed in the home by your children. It's a topic for another day. Presence versus presence. They need more of your presence than they need more of your presence, gifts. Topic for another day. So prioritize your life and do the things that only you can do and should do. By so doing, you will not only find yourself with more than 24 hours a day, right? Because you'll have utilized the resources that you have in your company, in your organization, and you will have duplicated yourself and multiplied yourself in many other people that can do the things that they can do. They can take off some of the workload that you have and do it for you. And they might not do it as well as you would, but remember that's also an opportunity for you to learn a different way of doing things. There's a Kikuyu proverb that says, an African proverb that says in Kikuyu, that a less traveled person, a person who's not well traveled, thinks that their mother is the only person that can cook good food. Until you visit other cultures, until you set your foot outside and you visit other homes and you find, whoa, my mama is not the only good cook. There are other good cooks out there. But how would you know unless you delegate a task to someone else? You equip them and you let them run with it. By so doing, you become productive and you focus on the things that only you can do. So prioritize your life every single day. You don't have to answer every call, every call that rings, that comes to your phone. Just because your phone is ringing does not mean that you have to answer it. Yeah? Don't answer calls that are not scheduled unless they are from your emergency contacts. Those can wait. Encourage your friends to text or schedule in time with them. And I don't mean to be offensive at all, but I consider it very rude, for lack of a better way of landing that point. I consider it very rude when I call someone or when someone calls me and I answer the phone and all they can hear in my background is background noise. Maybe I'm doing dishes, or maybe I'm vacuuming the house, or maybe someone is yelling at a child, which we don't in our home. Someone is having conversations in the back. And sometimes you end up asking, is it okay if I do something here, I attend on something here real quick, and then I call you back? Or can we carry on with this conversation tomorrow? It's a polite way of finding a way of excusing yourself because now the conversation is too crowded. There are so many distractions on that call. You see, when you schedule a call with a friend or even with family, you know that a certain person will call you at 4 p.m. By 4 p.m., you're sitting down with your cup of coffee and your notebook and paper, and you already know what you will be discussing, and you've taken the time to prepare ahead of time for that call, as opposed to random calls, and they are not emergency phone calls. And then we end up with this conversation that is running from north to south, east and west, and there's no specific topic that we're talking about. I don't mind going out for coffee and lunches and having a good time with my girlfriends and my family. I love that and I support it 100%. But I also want to encourage us to be productive, to prioritize things in our lives. Spend more time on what is giving you the greatest return. Don't just wake up and allow the day to run wild, or just watch the day pass you by. Make use of every single day. Dear leader, you do not have to check every text message and every email that comes through and respond immediately. It is okay to check a text and to check your voicemail and to check your emails and respond within 48 hours or within 24 hours. It is okay. It is absolutely okay. I want you to give your permission today to say that I am going to respond to this message. I'm going to respond to this call in 24 hours. Because unless you do that, then you'll never achieve anything. Think about it. If we all decided that there are no rules, there were no guidelines, a doctor can pick up the phone while right in the middle of an appointment with a client, a surgeon can check his cell phone and respond to it immediately, or a preacher, while right in the middle of his conversation or rather his teaching, he can decide to dash out and go visit a friend and then come back, or pick up a call, or, oh, this is urgent, let me text back. Then the world would be chaotic. It is the same concept. Our God is a God of order. A great leader is one that prioritizes their life. So schedule things. Schedule times even to call your family. Don't leave anything to chance. And again, after you've scheduled everything, I'm not saying that then we have to do everything and we have to go by the book. When things come, we allow God to interrupt our lives. But then again, we cannot just sit and not plan and just say, I'm going to wait for God to interrupt my life, or I'm just going to let my life run rogue. No. Prioritize your life. And as you prioritize your life, always remember as a leader what it is that you want to achieve. What is your why? Anytime you're sitting down and you're coming up with what you're going to do, make sure it aligns with your why, because that is the main reason of doing whatever it is that we do in the first place. So have that clarity. My mentor, Chris Robinson, said that when you don't have clarity, you can't tell purpose from a distraction. When you don't have purpose, or rather when you don't have clarity, you cannot tell the difference between purpose and, or rather, purpose, your why, and a distraction. Let me see if I can unpack that a little bit. Do you know your why? Why on earth are you here? Why are you here on earth? What's your purpose? The late Miles Monroe once said that when you do not know the purpose of something, you abuse it. If I do not know the purpose of this cup, I will misuse it. I will abuse it. What is your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing? What have you been called to do? Make every day count. Make every minute count. Have a list of priorities and create that list of what you're going to do the night before. Do not start the day until it is first completed on paper. And then you can now begin your day and leave it out. When you do that, you will be successful. You'll be disciplined, and you will also have taught the people around you that so dearly care for you and make your life easy as a leader. You'll have taught them how to treat you. I'm not against emergency calls and conversations. Those are okay. But when things are planned out, we honor the time of both parties. You feel your time has been honored, and you too, you honor the time of the caller. Essie Daniel here. I hope this has been a blessing. It has been such a pleasure hanging out with you. And if you've stayed until now, I just want you to know how grateful I am. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak into your life. I wish you nothing but the very best. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.